Good morning. I'm going to stall just a minute to see if a few people trickle in. I just thought I'd say good morning as a hint. And by some people, I mean Nancy. There she is. Not to put you on the spot or anything there, Nancy. Our universal heritage proposes that each person is made of divine goodness. Science offers that we're all stardust. Whatever your beliefs, know that you are a gift inherently worthy of love. You are a gift, and we are glad that you are here. Love is the spirit of all souls. In this moment of our shared journey, may you feel witnessed and honored wherever you are on your journey. Let us now greet our neighbors, especially new or returning people with their names and pronouns. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to all who are with us in the moment and those who are catching us later. I am Mickey Hughes. My pronouns are she, her. I am serving as the worship associate for today's service, together with Nancy Olson, Director of Congregational Life and Faith Formation, pronouns she, her, Dorian Condre, Communications Membership Coordinator, pronouns he, him, and Ginger Stoltz, pianist, pronouns she, her. We are your worship team on the chancel today. Our sabbatical speaker today is Tet Gallardo, who served as the former president of the UU Church of the Philippines during the pandemic. Known as the first out lesbian minister in the non-Western world, her commitment to breaking down acts of injustices is clear through her work as an artist, activist, and minister. She has served over 40 developmental organizations, including those in Burma, East Timor, and Nepal. She has spoken in person and virtually in over 25 US states, in Canada, the UK, Australia, and Tokyo. And today she'll be here with us. She's recently launched her third book called Friends Against the Machine and is now focusing on street ministry, living and being with indigents in a rural town in the Philippines, as minister for the UU Fellowship of Valencia. People of all ages are joyfully welcomed in this service. Nursery care is available if that option works best for you. I invite everyone to please complete a connection card. The cards are a great way to let us know if you'd like support, need assistance, have new contact information, a new interest, a comment, or a question. You can just place those in the offering basket. After our service today, you are welcome to join the introduction to Reiki, a path to peace in volatile times. Reiki is a holistic energy healing practice that originated in Japan. During this session, you can learn about Reiki, its potential benefits for stress reduction, emotional balance, and overall well-being, and how it can be a valuable tool for your personal self-care. It's going to be facilitated by Sonia Eisenhardt and Keki Tamhinker. As we begin our time together, we acknowledge the land itself and those who have sustained it through the generations. We are on the unceded land of the Lenape, Maiamia, Kaskaskia, Shawnee, and Kickapoo people who were pushed from their land and whose children have been stolen for generations. As we strive to be a community of justice, may we continue to find ways to make reparations. Dear friends, welcome to this hour when we gather to be reminded of the potential for friendship and community. For this to be a safe space and brave space, we must make a pact to say to one another, I am not here to harm you. Say that to one another. May we discover trust and comfort within this hour of soul connection and ritual.
Thank you, Mickey. Dorian is going to light our chalice today. Thank you, Dorian. This ritual of lighting our chalice, it certainly does remind us of the friendliness and the friendships we have here. And it reminds us to renew this promise, to live into our covenant, to put love into action, and to live out this community of friendship, of love, and justice that we aim to be. So if you would please rise in body or spirit as we say the words that are printed in your order of celebration. They're in Spanish and English. If you're with us online, please let us know where you are lighting your chalice from. Let's speak in Spanish first, and I'm going to go a little slower with the Spanish. And I see a lot of nods about that. It has come to my attention. El amor es el espíritu de esta iglesia, y el servicio es su ley. Vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad en el amor, y ayudarnos unos a otros. Este es nuestro pacto. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. This is our covenant. And if you would stay standing as we sing number 1052 in the Teal hymnal, The Oneness of Everything.
The grasp of hands, or heart to meet the eye, past the reaches of the mind. There find the key to nature's harmony in architecture so designed. Like the birds whose patterns grace the sky, and carry all who join in love expanding. The message of peace will rise in flight, taking the weight of the world upon its wings. In the oneness of everything, peace is in the dance of trees, who stir before the first breath of wind yet perceive. Trust in the song becoming one with and creatures to testify. Vast and immeasurable time and space, also overwhelmingly designed. Oh, passing years as mine, I know the faith that winters in the heart to be reborn in spring, to hear and to feel the pulse of life, and His will as a song to sing of the oneness of everything.
It's difficult but lovely. Thank you.
It's Jim, what's his name? Scott. Yeah, Jim Scott wrote the words and read the poetry. It's lovely.
I have a story. Some of you may know this story. It's been around for a little while. It's called The Smeds and the Smooths, and Reverend Tet chose this story. Thought that this would be a good story today for the theme and for what she is going to be speaking about. So, let us begin. By a lobular lake on a far-off planet, there lived a young Smed, and her name was Janet. Now, not far away on a humplety hill, there lived a young Smooth by the name of Bill. Now, Janet, like all Smeds, was red, imagine. And this is what her grandfather said: "Never, never, never play with the Smooths. They sleep in holes, they wear strange shoes, they jump about like kangaroos. Never, never play with the Smooths." Whew. Well, Bill, like other Smooths, was blue. And these were the words of Grandmother Smooth: "Never, never play with the Smeds. They have strange hair upon their heads. They sleep in funny things called beds. Never, never play with Smeds." The Smeds on their lake liked nothing better than splashing about, getting wet and wetter. But Janet grew bored with this watery play, and early one morning she tiptoed away. Now, the Smooths, they jumped all about their humpily hill, and they bounced up and down it. Oh, man, they never stood still. Bill was beginning to think, this is kind of boring. So early one morning, he too set off exploring. Janet met Bill in the warbular wood, where the truckles grow tall and the glompom smelled good. The two rubbed antenna, and they played all day long. She told him a story. He sang her a song. And then they climbed to the top of the gerberry coot, and they nibbled its juicy and jellyful fruit. Till who could disturb them but Grandfather Smed, shaking his fist as he angrily said, "Never, never play with a Smooth. They're such a nasty shade of blue. For the 100th time I say to you, never, never play with a Smooth." Grandmother Smooth, she was close behind, and this is how she spoke her mind. "Never, never play with a Smed. They're such a dreadful shade of red. I'll say it again, what I've always said. Never, never play with a Smed." Well, years went by on the far-off planet, and Janet missed Bill, and Bill missed Janet. But off they crept whenever they could to sing and play in the warbular wood. The two of them grew, and they decided to wed. But what do you think their grandparents said? "Never, never marry a Smooth. They're a beastly bunch. They're a crazy crew. They drink black tea, they eat green stew. Never, never marry a smoo. Never, never marry a Smed, my dearest child. Are you off your head? They drink pink milk, they eat brown bread. Never, never marry a Smed. You all know what happens. Janet and Bill stole out that night while their families slept and the swoon shone bright. They clambered into Smed's red rocket, and Bill pressed the button, and Janet steered. When their families woke, they had both disappeared. The Smeds said, "Your Bill must have stolen our Janet and taken her off to a distant planet." The Smooth said, "It's Janet who's stolen Bill and lured him away from the Humplety Hill." The Smooths climbed into the rocket of blue, and they said to the Smeds, "Well, you'd better come too." Suspicious and scowling, they soared into space till they reached planet Vumjum, a dry, dusty place. The Vums had long arms which they waved in the air, but they didn't have any news of this runaway pair. The next stop was Lurgelstop, covered in roses and watered by beasts with small eyes and long noses. They touched down on Grimbletosh, coated in grime. They searched planet Glurch and found nothing but slime. Well, one morning, the Smooths found that they'd run out of tea. So the Smeds shared their milk, which was, of course, pink as could be. Then Grandfather Smed said, "My hair needs a trim." And Grandmother Smooth kindly cut it for him. They landed on Skloop, where the Sloopies wore kilts. They flew to Klaboo, where the Clabs walked on stilts. They searched all year long, then they searched longer still, but they still couldn't find Janet, and they couldn't find Bill. "Alas," said the Smooths, and the Smeds said, "Alack, we have failed in our quest. We had better turn back." So they turned and they flew home to their very own planet, and far down below them, they saw Bill and Janet. The rocket touched down, and they ran to the wood where the trockles grow tall and the glompom smelled good, and there in a glade by the rocket of red were the runaway Smoo and the runaway Smed. There was joy and jam and jamping and jumping, and then Janet said, "Maybe you'd like to make friends with our dear little baby." "A baby? A red one?" No. This baby was purple from head to toe. They all hugged the Smoo Smed, their new baby brother, and Grandpa and Gran. They even hugged each other. They laughed and they splashed and they danced with delight, and they played with that baby from morning till night. They made him a rattle, they made him a flute, they fed him the fruit of the gerberry coot, and then they sang by the light of the silvery swoon. And you can sing too, if you make up a tune. Play with the Smeds and play with the Smoos. Play with whichever friends you choose. Then close your eyes, and while you smooze, dream of the Smeds and dream of the Smoos. Let's hear it for the Smoos and the Smeds. No kids? I don't see any kids left.
Nancy's always a hard act to follow, I'm afraid. Please join me in taking a few moments to note that which is currently bringing joy or sorrow to our community. My papers are mixed up. Here we go. We celebrate the recent release of climate activist Jackson Green from federal prison. Please remember other climate activists, Donald Zepeda, serving a 2-year sentence in federal prison for public witness and peaceful resistance to the dangers of climate change. Also, climate activist Tim Martins in your hearts. He has been remanded to jail in Washington, D.C. while awaiting sentencing in August for federal nonviolent direct actions. Please hold a moment of silence together for the joys and sorrows in our hearts that are yet unnamed. Please rise and body or spirit as we sing number 318, We Would Be One.
We would be one as now we join in singing our hymn of love to pledge ourselves anew to that high cause of greater understanding of who we are and what in us is true. We would be one in living for each other to show to all a new community. We would be one in building for tomorrow a nobler world than we have known today. We would be one in searching for that meaning which binds our hearts and points us on our way. As one we pledge ourselves to greater service with love and justice try to make us free.
Hello, All Souls Indy. I'm Reverend Ted Gallardo, and I'm coming to you from the Philippines. And I'm here right now to talk to you about friendship. So in the vast tapestry of world religions, friendship emerges as a universal calling, a sacred duty that transcends doctrinal differences. Nowhere is this better exemplified than in our Filipino culture, where Christianity, Islamic traditions, and other indigenous spiritual practices, and Hinduism, Buddhism, everything have merged early on before in pre-colonial times. So that's around 1100 to 1500 AD. So all these spiritual practices have merged to create a uniquely profound understanding of friendship. So our islands were welcoming to strangers with a radical concept of taking you into our family. Long before the colonists came. So the Filipino concept of kapwa, which is the shared identity between self and others, resonates deeply with religious teaching about friendship. When Filipinos say, hindi ka nag-iisa, it means we're in solidarity with you. You are not alone. We're not just offering comfort. We're expressing a fundamental spiritual truth about human interconnectedness that echoes across faiths. In Buddhist tradition, Thich Nhat Hanh declared friendship more important than Buddhism itself. So the way he said it was, sisterhood and brotherhood are more important than Buddhism. This mirrors the Filipino value of pakikisama, the art of harmonious relationships. When Filipinos practice pagpapakatao, it means we want to be human to you. We embody the Buddhist ideal of mindful presence and compassionate listening. The Islamic concept of sadiq, which is true friend, finds its parallel in the Filipino kaibigan, from the root word ibig, which means love. Kaibigan means we are co-loving. A friendship so deep, it becomes family. In Filipino Muslim communities in Mindanao, this blending of friendship and family ties creates bonds that transcend religious differences. The Christian teaching of Jesus calls his disciples friends rather than servants. This is in John 15:15, which resonates particularly in the Philippines, where Christianity isn't just a religion but a way of living that emphasizes deep personal friendships or relationships. The Filipino practice of Bayanihan, This is really interesting. It's like a festival of heroes. Bayani is heroism. Bayanihan means it's a festival of heroes. It's a communal heroism, a communal unity and cooperation, which shows how friendship extends beyond individual relationships to entire communities. In our modern world, we often celebrate romantic love while overlooking the quiet power of friendship. Yet Filipinos have long understood what others are just beginning to realize, that friendship represents a pure form of love that can be more profound than romantic attachments. Western education taught us six kinds of Greek love, right? So I think you're familiar with Eros, Philia, Ludus, Agape, Pragma, Philautia. So these are sexual passion, deep friendship, playful love, selfless love, self-love. So, however, in Filipino culture provides even more nuanced expressions of friendship love. Friendship love is more nuanced in Filipino culture. We have pakikipagkapwa-tao, which is to put yourself in their shoes. We have karamay, which is to share both your burdens and aspirations. We have kadaupang palad, a person who shares your plate, shares your fate. And kapalagayang loob, a person who makes you feel at home. And kapalagayang loob means somebody who's comfortable in feeling with you. Kaibigan, again, is friendship, ranging from acquaintances to intimate friends. Kakilala, not just an acquaintance, but someone who mutually bears witness to your life. So, kasama is a comrade or someone who shares a journey with you. Kasangkot, someone who's entangled in your circumstances. It could be in solidarity. Katiwala, a trustworthy supporter. Katapat, a match in selfhood. Kasangga, a partner against odds. Kabayanihan, to be heroes together for others. So these layers of friendship, this list isn't even complete. These layers of friendship reflect deep, complex, and meaningful ways Filipinos relate to one another. Yet modern influences have diminished our celebration of these bonds, replacing them with an overwhelming focus on romance. So Western culture often prescribes romance when we seek connection with others or even with ourselves. The Filipino concept of utang na loob is also debt of gratitude. I am indebted to you because of gratitude. But in friendship, shows us a different way of understanding love, not as a transaction, but as a continuous cycle of reciprocity. So unlike romantic love's demand for exclusivity, Filipino friendship embraces inclusion and deep connection. Real friends are like action heroes, not the Hollywood kind dodging explosions, but the ones who show up at 2 a.m. with fried chicken because they had a feeling you needed it. They answer your calls even when they know it's you who locked yourself out of your apartment for the third time this week. Heroism is never a solo act, and so is friendship. No superhero works alone. Even Batman, the most introspective, brooding emo of heroes, has Alfred, Robin, and the Justice League. The Avengers are essentially a group project with no clear leader. Heroism is a team sport, and friendship functions the same way. In Filipino culture, friendship is an invitation into one's community. When you become friends with a Filipino, you are introduced to their family, to their barkada, or their circle of friends, their entire support system. Filipino friendship is about inclusion. The one who isolates you is suspect. We have Bayanihan, our way of saying no one struggles alone because we're nosy, helpful people. Moving houses, the whole barangay shows up. Need money for medical bills? An auntie is already organizing a fundraiser. We don't do solo suffering, we do shared survival. Real friendship isn't just about the good times. It's about who sticks around when life turns into a soap opera written by someone who hates you. Your real friends aren't the ones who text, let me know if you need anything. The real friends just show up and start fixing things without permission, and you welcome them. So those are the real friends. Of course, you don't like friends who just you don't like people just showing up at your house when they're not your real friends. History is full of friendships that changed the world. Our local hero Jose Rizal and his fellow ilustrados or enlightened ones formed a movement for freedom. Martin Luther King didn't march alone, he had an entire network of friends and allies. Even Jesus had 12 disciples because even the Son of God needed friends when the world turned against him. How do these historical figures become our friends? The answer lies in presence and solidarity. I love this story about Mother Teresa, which illustrates this. One day, Mother Teresa found a man left out in the sun to die. She told him about Jesus, like offering the man his last rites. Let me tell you about Jesus before you die so you can accept him. And the man said, I don't know Jesus. And she spoke of Jesus' deeds, Jesus the Son of God, Jesus came here to save, and finally he would still say, I don't know Jesus. So finally she simply stayed with him, offering her presence. The man then said, I still don't know Jesus, but I know you. I believe in your love. According to Catholic teaching, the man was saved by the baptism of desire, baptism of love. Not by doctrine, but by friendship. Real friends are heroes, and real heroes are our friends. If real friendships create heroes, they also make resistance possible. Tyrants fear friendship more than they fear enemies. They fragment information. The right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. They isolate people because real intimacy, loyalty, and care are beyond their control. Friendship builds communities on trust, while tyrants build empires on fear. Every oppressive regime in history has understood this. That's why they attack relationships first. The moment people stop trusting each other, resistance collapses. But friendship, real, deep friendship, is the great antidote to oppression. Look at Rosa Parks. She wasn't just a lone woman on a bus, she was part of a movement, a web of friendships built over years. The Montgomery bus boycott succeeded not just because of one woman's bravery, but because of friendships that turned bravery into collective action. Look at the Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman, two giants of the abolitionist movement, one using words, the other leading people to freedom. They weren't just fellow activists, they were friends who strengthened each other. Friendship and heroism go hand in hand. Being a hero isn't about grand gestures, it's about showing up, checking in on a friend, standing up for someone, keeping the group chat alive with memes when life feels unbearable. Are you the kind of friend who's a hero? Do you stick around, fight for people, and share the burden? Real heroes aren't perfect. They mess up, they get things wrong, but they try. They show up, and that's what matters. Real friends are heroes, and real heroes are friends. If we get this right, we build communities where no one fights alone, where burdens are shared, and where love is louder than fear. So don't just look for good friends, be one. And if nothing else, at least be the kind of hero who brings snacks to the adventure. Because let's be real, no one likes a hero who forgets the snacks. And I have to tell you about this, that during the uprising that toppled the dictator Ferdinand Marcos, my only role was to bring the snacks. Thank you.
This week, we are sharing our offering plate with the Black Church Coalition, Live Free Indiana. To contribute, you can gift cash or check in the collection plate, or if online, you can go to allsoulsindy.org, where you will find a link that says Give to All Souls here on the left side. It's beneath the description for today's service. Please indicate if your gift is a pledge payment or if it is a share the plate payment. Thank you for your generosity in supporting the mission of All Souls and for your continued love for one another and for this world. The morning offering may now be given and gratefully received. Please stand and join us in singing number 20, Be Thou My Vision.
Be thou my vision, O God of my heart, not be all else to me, save that thou art. From either thought by day or by night, waking or sleeping, thy presence my light. Be thou my wisdom, and thou my true word, and ever with thee, and thou with me, God. Thou my soul's shelter, thou my high tower. Strengthen thou heaven, O power of my power. Riches I need not, nor words empty praise. Thou my inheritance, now and always. Thou and thou only most cleanse me my heart. Sovereign of heaven, my treasure thou art.
Our closing words are by Reverend Tet Gallardo. May we see aspects of each other in ourselves. May we see aspects of ourselves in each other. We are different and separate, but elementally connected. May we allow ourselves and each other to be loved. May this moment help sustain us. Our closing song is We Walk in Love.
We walk in love,
United in purpose, we join our hands and lift up our voice. We speak the truth with strength and compassion, filling with hope, with courage and joy. We cry for peace and rights for all people. We welcome friends from far and near. We fight for those whose voices are silenced, resisting in faith until all are free. We dream a world of justice and kindness. We build